Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host of the Square Circle Podcast, Marie Shadows. You are currently listening to the latest wrestling podcast episode via your favorite podcast platform. This mini announcement is to inform you that I have invested in a Patreon where you can now support the podcast, plus my novel Rookie, directly through patreon.com/rookiescp. I've added this episode on all major podcast platforms because I want to know your thoughts on such hot topics within the wrestling community. Consider not only leaving me a comment, but pledging to the Patreon so I'll be able to fulfill all benefits exclusively for you. I'll see you in the messages. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Square Circle Podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and on this episode of the Square Circle Podcast, I'll be reviewing the bell-to-bell of the match card. This won't be a review of the show. Usually I talk about the matches, the psychology, the story within the ropes, and move for move of the wrestlers. I want to explore the time limit of each match, including the one women's match on the card that featured Hikaru Shida versus Heather Monroe. For the past weeks, the wrestling community wants a better AEW women's division. I do too. I won't tell you mindless or careless thoughts on how to improve. I'll use my knowledge of pro wrestling to help improve AEW. So let's get started. But first,
hey, listen!
Not everyone knows about the Square Circle Podcast. So please favor this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and support my newest venture, Patreon. Thanks for doing that. Your support means the world to me. All links in the description. Okay, disclaimer. I am not an analytical person. I just have thoughts, can do math, that's not Steiner math, and want to help to find a cause of the problem as to why AEW isn't giving the women enough time on the show. August 12, 2020 was known as Tag Team Appreciation Night. This was a clause in FTR's contract, so Tag Team Appreciation Night means that AEW honors the Rock and Roll Express and Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. We'll get there later. There were 11 segments on AEW. There were 6 segments that weren't matches. Those were backstage segments. There were 2 tag. There were 3 singles. Just know that I did not time any of the backstage segments. AEW Dynamite opens with a tag team match. The Young Bucks versus Stu Grayson and Evil Uno of the Dark Order. This match was scheduled for a 20-minute time limit. It went for 12 minutes and 31 seconds. I'm not counting the blindside attack by the other members of the Dark Order. Next is MJF's State of Address, which ran for 8 minutes and 5 seconds. I think this segment should have been cut down to 4 minutes. MJF is a great talker and baiter. However, it took a little longer for the bait to actually happen. MJF can say a lot in a concise way, and that's powerful. He doesn't need any longer time because I don't want him to talk in circles just to get the bait to happen. Next was a Matt Hardy backstage interview. After it was the TNT Championship Open Challenge match, Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky. I really wanted Sky to win, but that did not happen. The match overall felt important and high profile. Cody and Sky didn't have a previous storyline together, and that didn't matter. In the ring, they fought like warriors trying to prove which is the best. I need a rematch. I believe that this match was only scheduled for a 20-minute time limit. It went for 11 minutes and 46 seconds. After Cody retains, Brody Lee challenges Cody for his TNT Championship. Second tag team match of AEW Dynamite, Jurassic Express versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. This match is scheduled for a 60-minute time limit. The tag team titles were on the line. The match only lasted for 14 minutes and 12 seconds. After was a backstage segment with Santana and Ortiz destroying best friend's personal belongings. Next, we get the tag team appreciation segment. This lasted 8 minutes and 12 seconds. This was fine. Nothing became a circle. Now we get to the hot topic. Shida wrestled Heather Monroe. The match was scheduled for 20 minutes. The match went for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It was a good, fast-paced match. Heather got in her wrestling skills and almost got the victory, but Shida kicked it into overdrive to finish the match as quickly as possible. I'll get back to this. After, we get a backstage segment with Jake Roberts cutting a promo while Lance Archer destroys people in the background. Our main event is Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. This match had TV time remaining, I'm guessing. It lasted for 13 minutes and 51 seconds. So altogether, we ended up with 1 hour and 15 minutes of AEW programming. There was at least 30 minutes of commercial. That's the TNT network putting that much of commercial time. That wasn't AEW's choice. So bell to bell for the matches all stood within their scheduled times except for the women's match. Ever since Shida became women's champion, she's been on the back burner. She's in the crowd at the dark events. She doesn't jump the guardrail to attack the other women on the roster to remind them that she's the leader of the group. But then again, she's not a heel. I guess she's still a babyface. She doesn't bother Britt Baker. Britt claims she's the face of the division since she has been the one constant woman there. But she's in a feud with Big Swole. Why isn't Britt and Reba not in the women's tag team tournament? That's another discussion for a podcast episode. Back to Shida. When Shida won the AEW Women's Championship, she did say she wanted to do open challenges. When Cody won his TNT Championship, he started the open challenges. Cody is a name, Shida isn't. Thus, Shida took a backseat in priority of issuing and defending her AEW Women's Championship against indie competitors and even home-based competitors. What bothers me is the lack of leadership for the women. And no, Brandy isn't of leadership material. There's no locker room leader for the women to at least remind Tony Khan that they matter and they have stories to be told. I'll be the locker room leader. I'm Marie Shadows. I'll talk with all the women, find out their strengths, weaknesses, and goals for AEW and wrestling in general. If I have an outline of the women, then it'll be easier to pair them for stories or take risks with opportunities to hopefully create organic stories. The women of AEW also need a BTE-esque spinoff. I'll gladly produce it, edit it, and follow the ladies around so we can get personalities and stories going. I don't know these women. Matches can tell you but so much. No, it won't be Total Bellas. It won't be Total Divas. It'll be special. It'll be theirs. It'll be real with real stories that'll have the world intrigue. All organic like BTE. I'm willing to put the work in. I just need a chance with Tony Khan and the EVPs. Britt Baker has a segment almost every week. She's passing notes to Tony Schiavone. She's feuding with Swole, although this feud has not reached its full potential yet. And Shida? What's Shida doing? We're barely talking about her on social media. We're interested in what Britt Baker is going to do next. Shida's match was only 2 minutes because her character is all about finishing matches faster, which means she's tough and can't be touched. She should be allowing the women she faces to have more time with her in the ring. Japanese wrestlers like a challenge, but if Shida is going to dominate matches against women who have no vignette about them, then what's the point? The only woman on the AEW roster that should dominate like Shida is Nyla Rose. So how do we fix it? Give Shida her open challenge. Also have those matches at least 10 minutes on AEW Dynamite. All other women matches should be on Dark. You want to know what's good about YouTube? It'll be there so you can go back and watch it. If you miss cable, that's it. And as a wrestling community, we have to remind the masses that AEW Dark is important too. So let me know your thoughts. You can leave me a voice message via Anchor. Twitter is always a good place to leave your thoughts. And if you enjoyed my thoughts, please consider pledging to my Patreon. Visit patreon.com/rookie SCP. You'll also be supporting my murder mystery wrestling novel called Rookie. Thanks for hearing me out. I'll see you guys on the next podcast episode of the Square Circle podcast. I'll see you guys soon.